Hey, what's up, everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be breaking down Shacarri Richardson's 1065, the new gold medal world champion. USA took the 100 meter for men, took the 100 meter for women, have really shown to be the best sprinting country in the world, taking over Jamaica. Super excited to be able to officially say that now, right? Now that Shacarri Richardson has went and won the gold medal in the 100 meter, you can't argue with it, right? And obviously, this is something that you could tell the disappointment on Shericka Jackson and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price when she was able to win. But wow, what a race that Shacarri Richardson ran. Just did such a great job of being able to really accelerate here. We take a look at those first three steps, and nobody got their foot down faster than Shacarri here, right? She did the best job with those first three steps. And looking at the semifinals, which was awesome about this, is that she was in lane 9 and won, right? And because typically when you are not in the kind of premier middle area, especially within like the World Championships, the Olympics, like those are where the best women are. And with the semifinals, she didn't have a great run. She didn't have a great start, so she ended up coming in third. She still ran a great time, but came in third place, which is why she's on the outside. And from that, what ends up being such an awesome thing to be able to see is just that the fact that she was able to improve, and it looks so clean out of the start. Right, we could see. I mean, a lot of these women. Talu's doing a great job with their start. I mean, Shelly-Ann, I feel like she didn't take a great third step here. To be honest with you, I feel like she's a little bit across her body and not in the position that she typically is in when she is accelerating. Shericka Jackson looks like she's doing a pretty good job, but she also kind of popped up a little bit early. Like that step right here looks a little more vertical than horizontal. And that's, I think, a big part of why you could see how much faster that Shacarri Richardson was able to get that foot down. By the time she's off with that third step, we have Shericka Jackson that is hitting her third step, right? And that's huge when it comes to your ability to get a great acceleration there. Okay, and what I thought was amazing about her ability to accelerate, because even from that position, right, Shericka Jackson had started getting really vertical really early and started reaching really early. And I think that ends up being almost one of her downfalls, is like where Shericka Jackson has the biggest strong point is her final 10 meters. And by her getting so vertical so early, she kind of takes that away, because now she's getting into her top speed really early, right? And as much as she is one of the fastest, she probably is the fastest woman, but she's not really using her speed. Like I feel like Shericka Jackson is going to win the 200 meter for sure, because she uses her top speed much more effectively when running the 200. In comparison to the 100, she gets into her top speed positioning way earlier, and so therefore she doesn't use it the same, right? Like look at this. At this point, Shericka Jackson should be separating from everybody. But we see, and we've seen this a few times now, where Shacarri comes back and is able to beat Shericka Jackson in that last 10, 15 meters. We've seen this a few times. I don't know if, I think that the last time that Shericka Jackson, or this was the first time Shericka Jackson actually beat Shacarri in a race, was in the semifinals. There might have been one other time, but Shacarri has definitely beat Shericka Jackson more times. So it's definitely a rivalry there. And let me go ahead and fast forward. I want to get more of the side. I love that we got the like very, very close side here. What she does a good job of is, and you can even tell in the interview when she's talking, and we just talked about this with Noah Lyles as well, she just runs her race, right? She's not concerned. It almost helped her to be on the outside, to be away from all the noise, in my opinion. So now she had the really opportunity to not worry about anything else, just be very honed in on what she needs to do and to be able to run the best time that she can, right? And really execute her race. And she even says that as well. Like she just felt like she did a great job of executing her race when she was running here. Okay, and we get to this point, right? We're probably about 50, 60 meters in. Again, this should be where Shericka Jackson is starting to open up, right? She's already fully opened up right here. Like, look at Shacarri. Shacarri hasn't even started opening up yet, right? She's just starting to open up. If we look at her, right? So like, look at this step. See how she's not really opening up yet? Starting to open up a little bit more. Now by this step, she's fully opening up. Okay, we're looking at Sha'carri here. Okay, but at the same time, right, and we show this a lot with the men as well, we already have Shacarri Jackson opening up, right? Like if we're looking at Noah Lyles wouldn't be even close to opening up at this point, right? Because he has a longer time to build speed, right? Building speed happens in that framework, right? So if we get to the top speed sooner, that means that we just end up cutting off or even going more like that. And that's the biggest thing that Shacarri Jackson, the biggest mistake that Shacarri Jackson is making is she is getting to her top speed too early. She should be peaking, really like 60 meters, right? She should be peaking at 60 meters and then really following that through to the 100 meters. I would bet that from 90 to 100, that was not as fast as her 50 to 60 for Shacarri Jackson, where Shacarri Richardson, I can guarantee you her 90 to 100 was definitely either as fast or faster than her 50 to 60 when we get the official 10-meter splits. And I'm sure that, from 50 to 60, I bet you Shacarri Jackson beat Shacarri, right? But now that she starts to open up, because in this position, Shacarri is maybe fifth, right? She's definitely not first. It looks like Shacarri Jackson's in first. Shelly Ann's in second, right? And you got to give it to Shacarri. Shacarri stayed, from the start perspective, she stayed with Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. That's awesome. She stayed with Ta Lou. That's awesome. Two of the best starters in the world, right? That's amazing that she was able to achieve that. Like, kudos to her to be able to do that. But she came in second because Shacarri Richardson wasn't trying to beat them in the first 50, the first 60. She was trying to beat them for 100. And so while all of them were in front, now all of a sudden we start to see Shacarri Richardson start to open up, right? We can see that her right side is a little bit tight there. She's not opening up all the way with that right side. Probably needs to get a little bit more range of motion within that low back. Definitely needs to get more range of motion within that right hamstring. There's a lot that goes into the nerves there, into the toes, and I need to make a video about that. I've been doing a lot of research into that. But look at how good of a job she does with reaching with the right arm. Look at this right arm, how she comes through here, okay, and then reaches out with that right arm and then pulls. And that's what is so critical when it comes to how well she uses that left leg and how she's able to transition off really, really well there. Her left side, we can see she comes across a little bit more. She doesn't get as much extension, and she also doesn't utilize that extension as well within her right leg pull and how her foot's striking the ground, right? So, everybody ends up being a little bit different with their power leg and their kind of stance leg or their speed leg, their faster transition leg. But I think that she definitely needs to do a better job of being able to reach that and should work on being able to get to that position a little bit more effectively. And I think that'll really make a big difference in her ability to run faster, right? And huge kudos to Shacarri. I think that she's did an absolutely amazing job. There's just been so much hate around her for the past 2-3 years. I'm sure she's kind of gotten rid of some people and made sure that she's surrounded a lot more with positive energy, which is great. That's super important. But she had to overcome a lot. She has one of those personalities. She's much more searched from a Google perspective than any man. She's like the most, in terms of track and field right now, she is probably the biggest name. It's really amazing for her to, even though she didn't win anything, she hadn't won anything big until this. Right now, she really has cemented herself as a superstar. Not that she wasn't before, because she already had so much attention, so much followers. They talked about how many followers she had. She had so many Google searches. She had so much of just attention in general was on her. I'm sure her sponsorships, we don't know a lot about that, but I'm sure she has a ton of sponsorships, a lot more than any of the other women for sure, at least within the United States. And all of that. And I know that she lost, or I want to say she lost her Nike sponsorship during some of the turmoil that happened, but now she's back on top. She's somebody that has just done an amazing job of blocking out all of the negativity. And, if there's somebody that deserves this, much like Noah Lyles too, both of them, proud to say they're from the United States, because they both have great stories of overcoming people that have doubted them. Even when when Noah Lyles won, they were talking about how he kind of reached out to one of the announcers and was like, who did you predict to win? And you could tell he was kind of like, oh man, like, I definitely didn't pick you. Where, I mean, I obviously wouldn't have predicted that Noah Lyles was going to win. I kind of thought that Christian Coleman was going to get it, just based off of how well he was looking, but he didn't run his race. If I would have known who's going to run their race the best, I would have definitely said undeniably that Noah Lyles was going to win. Same thing with Sha'carri. She did a great job of being able to run her race and executed to perfection, and that's where and why she ran her personal best, right? It's country record as well. It's it's a championship record. So now she is championship record, and also obviously the world record is the 10:49, which is also Flojo, which is fastest ever. But I mean, if there's somebody that's going to do it, it's going to be Sha'carri, and to me, really Sha'carri and Sharika, both of them. I mean, super excited to be able to see those two compete against each other for the next few years, because that's going to be a great thing to watch. I think they're both going to push each other to be able to achieve more, because I know Sharika Jackson can get a lot better. I hope she watches this. I hope this is something that she learns a lot from, because I think that she needs to do a better job of not trying to race these girls out of the blocks and let them kind of, just like Noah Lyles, just like Darnell Hughes, just like Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt didn't try to beat Tyson Gay in the first 50 meters, right? He beat him in the last 50 meters. Same type of thing here, right? You got to be able to trust your top speed and build your top speed. And the way to be able to do that is to not rush out of your drive phase and get to your top end speed too early. And, once she's able to do that, she's going to be able to run a lot better times. And I think Shacarri Richardson is going to continue to improve. I mean, she's only 23, right? And so there's so much room for her to grow, so much improvement for her to make. And, we're all excited to be able to see it. So if you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, leave those down below. We're always very thankful for you guys to be able to watch these videos. We have a whole list of things that you can do on our website in terms of getting coaching just like this. I mean, each year, each time that there's a big world championship or big track and field, we're always posting these videos about the 100 meters, about the technique, about the sprinting mechanics. I can't emphasize enough how important the mechanics are. There's people all the time that I see online on Reddit, on different Facebook groups, things like that are asking about what they're doing from a programming perspective. I do think that ends up being important, that you should be following a good program, but part of your program should be based off of what you need to work on within the mechanics, and should be based off of how you are able to compartmentalize and break down your run, and how well you're able to accelerate, how well you're able to start, what your top end speed is like. After you get those types of numbers down, now we can get specific into things like what are you doing within your programming. But before that, it really doesn't end up being nearly as beneficial for you. So make sure that you're taking a look at that type of stuff before you get too much into your programming and making too many changes to your programming. You should really understand what you need to work on from a biomechanical perspective. And the best way to do that is to have a coach that can look. Go ahead and check out the website in order to find out more about that. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.